This is DJ the Prodigy Pen, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hey, this is Cain Velasquez, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chuck Liddell, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, he's Wanderlei the Ex-Murder Silva, and you're listening Ringside Report Radio.
This is Tito Ortiz, the People's Champ, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Uriah Faber, the California Kid, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
This is Randy, the Natural Couture, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, this is Vito Belfer, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Jacques Saint-Pierre, and welcome to Ringside Report Radio.
Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey.
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
Yes, indeed. It is Ringside Report Radio. I'm Dave Simon. Fred Garcia's not here. He's out fishing. He's literally gone fishing.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's AJ. Anthony D'Alessio is here. Muscles Marco is in the house. What's up, Muscles Marco?
Not much. How you doing?
Very well, man. We're doing well. UFC 226 is tomorrow night. It's International Fight Week. AJ's rubbing his hands together. He's excited.
It's been a crazy week, man.
Yeah.
This has been like the strange. Like every time there's a fight week or something, weird stuff happens. Like weird stuff. If anybody's
weird bad though.
Like weird bad and also weird good. I mean, like with Sarah, that was a weird good. Right.
Matt Serra had to subdue a drunk guy in a restaurant in Las Vegas the night before he was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. So I guess this was Wednesday night. The UFC Hall of Fame was last night, and tonight you've got the Ultimate Fighter finale. That's going down right now. There's a guy from Winnipeg who's fighting for a Ultimate Fighter title.
Katona.
We also found out that the next season of the Ultimate Fighter is going to be coached by Robert Whittaker, the UFC middleweight champion, and Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum will be the next contender for Robert Whittaker. And AJ, what, you don't like that?
No, I do, but it's not like that exciting. Do you think? Seriously, Dave. Seriously.
I'm not that excited about it.
Yeah, there you go.
But
like if it was Tony Ferguson or something like that, wouldn't you be more pumped?
Tony Ferguson is a 155-pounder. We're talking about the 185-pound championship of the world.
Man. It's just for coaching purposes.
It does matter. It's not for coaching purposes because at the end of these seasons, the coaches fight each other, AJ. That's what we're seeing tomorrow night. We've got Daniel Cormier fighting Stipe Miocic. They just coached this last season of The Ultimate Fighter against each other. And now they're going to fight tomorrow for the UFC heavyweight title.
True.
Yes, it is
absolutely true.
Yes, that's true. They weighed in today. That fight is actually going to happen. Thanks for fact-checking me there, AJ. Yeah. True. Thanks.
Man, but anyways, go back
Where's Fred? I already missed Fred.
Where's Fred? Fred is like fishing, and that's what he's saying. He said that the last time, and I questioned him, and
he showed,
this time, he showed a picture.
Pictures of the fish that his buddy caught last time, and this time we have pictures.
Because I got him in trouble with his girlfriend, I think. Because I'm like, yeah, really, Fred? You went on fishing? Yeah, right. That's what they always say.
I don't think
Where were you, in Trois-Rivières?
Nobody's taking you seriously. Fred is out fishing for real.
Well, this time he proved it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, he sent me a picture of the fish, and I said, hey, tweet that out so we could...
Is it like a 2-pound fish?
That looked pretty good.
Hey, did he buy that at the Provigo or something? Come on. It's probably...
He was on a boat. It looked like a real fish.
I don't know, man. It was pretty small.
You can see that picture on Fred's Twitter at Freddie MMA. You can follow me at Dave Simon MMA.
I'm serious,
or you can check out the weirdo graphic that Anthony made with Fred and the fish at Danny Bruck, and I retweeted it at Dave Simon MMA. This is a bizarre image you put out there, AJ.
It was a Cheech and Chong special. It wasn't me. It was my my guy.
Why is... Do you even know who this guy is? Why is Connor from the... No, this isn't Connor. This is Victor. It's Victor from the Ascension.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he included in this graphic?
Because he was supposed to be the manager of the fish.
Yeah, okay, but why did you choose Victor from the Ascension to include on this?
I didn't choose him, man. I just told him, get some wrestling guy, and that's the guy he took.
This is your graphics man?
Yeah.
Why do you have your own graphics man?
Hey, I'm AJ. You know,
You're
AJ.
AJ. Marco's miming over there. Marco, what are you saying? What are you saying about AJ?
AJ's at a different level now. You know, he's
exactly.
special now. He's got the guys now to help him out.
Yeah, he's big time. AJ's got all sorts of people.
I had the limo, everything, man.
He's a superstar now.
Yeah, it's hard.
You had
It's
a
hard.
limo? When did you have a limo?
Last Saturday?
Yeah.
Where do you think those cookies came from?
Yeah, we had.
I brought Dave like some cookies and
Which,
like some
I gotta
wedding
say,
confetti and all that kind of stuff.
Compared to the spread we had last week for the show with James Mancini in here.
James, man, where's James? Hope he calls in.
People are still talking about that James Mancini show from last week. That
He's
was
awesome.
crazy.
Wasn't he great?
James was fantastic. Clap it up for
Yeah, James.
was
James Boom
great.
Boom.
James was really good last
They
week.
know him all over the world now.
Yeah.
Thanks to this show.
That's right. And you know what? I just got the night off August 2nd.
What?
So we're going to see James at La Tohu to
Yeah.
see him win the TKO Flyweight Championship.
Man, I hope
we
he
will be
wins it.
there, not in his corner, but, you know.
Well, we could be.
Well, not
In
literally.
spirit.
We can't literally be
Well,
his corner.
me
man.
and Muscle Marco last time, we were pretty much almost in his corner. We were going crazy. Well, I was going crazy.
Well,
but
we will be there for James for
It's
his
good-
next fight, and then James will come back on the show with that title, and we can all pose with it.
Exactly.
I could pretend I'm the TKO champion.
Well, you can have a fight with James on air, and
No.
we
I don't want
Hey?
to do that. I'm just pretending. We're not. I don't actually want to win the thing. I want to, or challenge for it. Even. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not winning the thing.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'd love to see you.
Well,
you and
Fred,
James.
I actually almost got Fred in trouble last week because of that. I tried to get.
You were trying to get
Marco
James to choke out Marco or Fred last week for some reason. I don't know why you were doing
wanted to
that.
put me to sleep.
It was bizarre.
Hey, you got to experience it. If someone has never been choked out in like grappling, they have no idea. So, Marco, I wanted to give you that pleasure of feeling it.
Well, maybe at the end of the show you can knock me out then. How's that?
I don't think that's a good
I
idea.
don't
Let's not
think-
do that. So we've got the Ultimate Fighter finale going on right now in front of us. It's Katona against Anthony. You might have to help me pronounce this guy's name.
Cuciniello.
No, it's Cuciniello.
Cuciniello?
Yeah,
That's an
Cuciniello.
Italian name,
like
right?
Cucci, baby.
Oh my goodness. So
You
that's
know
an-
what? Just quickly, this Katona guy.
Yeah, he's
who's
from
fighting.
He's from Winnipeg, but he trains out at the Straight Blast Gym in Ireland with Conor McGregor.
Exactly, and he went all the way to Ireland.
Yeah.
Mind you, he has like this Irish accent. I don't know how he got it. Was he like
Well, when you live there for long enough, I think it rubs off on you a bit.
maybe? It's kind of like Madonna when she was living in the UK. But what I'm saying is that this Katona guy.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
Dave,
yeah.
nobody got that.
She had to pretend like a British accent for a while.
Yeah, I
that's
should start
weird.
doing that and putting like
No.
some fake French accent or
No, we're
something, or
good.
Irish.
You're-
I always wanted to do my accent. Remember I told you?
I think we should steer
Wally,
clear
if
from
Wally,
that.
I wanted to do it for Wally. I've been practicing for forever.
You've been practicing your Irish accent
Well,
forever?
it's my Gaelic. My Gaelic.
Maybe next time.
Come on.
Maybe
Wally,
next
call in. I'm going to do it for you. I've been practicing.
Wally, our boy out in Ireland. I
Man.
wonder if he's listening right now. It's like 5 a.m. his time. He
For
wasn't
sure.
on. He wasn't on the Ringside Report
With
or
James.
the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show today.
What?
He didn't check in
That's strange.
on the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show, which is odd because normally he
What?
does check in. The Wrestling Uncensored pre-show went down on YouTube, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, ringsidereport.net spelled out DOTNET. And hey, Anthony, we're going to be on YouTube tomorrow night right after UFC 226.
That's right.
That'll
That's
be
right.
fun.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching the UFC 226 show.
Let's hope it's not a snoozer like last time.
I'll be honest with you, we're going to be watching the New Japan show from San Francisco from about 8 to 10 p.m.
What about the prelims?
Yeah, what about the prelims?
No, we got to
You
watch
can
the
watch
prelims.
the prelims on one screen. I'm going to be watching New Japan Pro Wrestling tomorrow night.
Sounds like a perfect marriage. I love it.
It's going to be fun. Yeah.
I love it.
Settle
Okay.
down over there. Settle down.
Wait. I was going to get back to that guy Katona that we were looking at.
What about him?
He's like, his own girlfriend said this guy is like, if you see him, you would never know that he's an MMA fighter. He looks like a
doesn't-
total nerd.
Yeah, he doesn't look like an aggressive fighter.
No.
Not like Mike Perry. You know that Mike Platinum Perry who's fighting tomorrow night with the face tattoos and the whole look
yeah.
and the whole gimmick. You look at that guy and you're like, oh, he's either a prison guy or a MMA fighter. You know, he looks the type of a cage fighter.
Well,
you know?
it's like saying Olivier Ben Mercier. Like, he's kind of like that
He
guy.
doesn't look the type.
No, but he can like destroy just about anybody here in Montreal. Let's be honest.
Of course.
But what I was going to say is,
He's fighting soon, too, in Calgary.
yeah, I can't wait.
Olivier. He's fighting in like 3 weeks.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Where's he at? I thought he was supposed to show up here before his
know,
fight.
Yeah, actually, if Olivier is listening, we have to.
Where you at, Olivier?
Well, we have
Canadian
No,
gangster.
we have actually Olivier Aubin-Mercier that has to be on the show, so we got to schedule him in. We got to schedule in Elias Theodorou, who's probably listening, so we got to get him in. In fact, he was he fought Brad Tavares. Remember that fight?
Yeah.
Where he got unfortunately Elias lost, but hey, it
Tavares
happens
is a
to
tough
everybody,
guy.
you know.
Tavares is fighting tonight, right?
Yeah, he's fighting tonight. So
Did this Katona guy just win, or the
I
other
think
guy
Katona
won?
just won.
Katona just won, yeah.
Awesome, Katona.
All right, a Canadian guy from Winnipeg. Was it Brad Katona?
Yeah.
Yes,
Good
Brad
for him.
Katona. Look at him.
Wins
Awesome.
the Ultimate Fighter at featherweight.
That's amazing and very talented.
Good stuff.
So McGregor has a part of this as well.
Yeah. Tomorrow night you got Daniel Cormier against Stipe Miocic. That's a pretty big fight. It's the UFC heavyweight championship on the line. It doesn't really get much bigger than that. You got the light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier taking on the champion, the longest reigning champion in the history of the UFC, or maybe not longest by time, but most title defenses. 3 title defenses. No one has ever done that in the history of the UFC heavyweight division. Stipe Miocic is the man. Yeah. And if he can beat Daniel Cormier, he will solidify himself as the man. But I feel like as big as this fight is, people are just not that excited about it.
You think so?
I feel like the buzz is not that strong, and I don't know how well it'll do on pay-per-view. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
Because I think a lot of people, like for MMA fans, this is a big fight. You got Stipe, you got DC. We know these guys. We love these guys. They're legit fighters. But to a lot of people, like the rest of the world that only tunes in every once in a while, they know DC from getting knocked out by John Jones. And I think DC is a tough sell. As much as you and I may love him and hardcore MMA fans recognize the greatness of Daniel Cormier and the real possibility that he could win that championship tomorrow night, I feel like he's always going to be in the shadow of John Jones.
Yeah,
and that hurts. That hurts his marketability.
True, but like he said at the conference, he said simply I've beaten everyone, including cheaters. So the truth,
he hasn't beat John Jones. And I'll be honest with you, if you had John Jones versus DC tomorrow night, or John Jones versus Stipe Miocic tomorrow night, I'm picking Bones Jones to win either fight.
Really?
Hell yeah!
Oh, come on,
Are you kidding me?
After all this time that he's been out,
so
he didn't perform that well his last fight. Let's be honest.
Against Daniel Cormier when he head kicked him unconscious.
Not that one.
That was his last fight, AJ.
Was it? I thought he fought. No, he fought someone right after.
No, he didn't.
All right, I'll have to look it. Google it, Marco.
Check it out,
Check
AJ.
it out. But anyways, let's be honest. Cormier,
John Jones' last fight was when he knocked out Daniel Cormier.
Look,
and that's what people remember.
Look, I'm no prune, but let's be honest. I mean, Cormier's
no prune.
I'm no prune.
I don't know what that means. I mean, obviously
kind of
you're not a prune.
You mean a prude?
Prude. That's it. Not a prune. A prude.
Yeah, different
I'm
things.
A prune.
You're no.
Listen,
I'm no.
I'm
no prune.
I'm no prune.
That's a fruit.
Man, we gotta make that. We gotta make that a T-shirt. That's a Ringside Report Radio T-shirt right there. I'm no prune.
You know what? That's something Renato Laranjo would say.
Hey, I'm no prune.
I'm no prune. So
you meant prude?
No, I meant prune. Actually, prune, like a prune. But since Marco brought up prude, maybe that's what I wanted to say.
I think so. Let's just keep it at that.
Good thing we got Muscles Marco, our bodyguard here, because he's got to translate for you half the time.
You have to know.
Kind of like
AJ.
Nagano when he's speaking.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Francis. Listen, wait. Let me go back to Cormier.
Tell me why you're not a prune.
Well, I'm Italian. We're more olives.
Okay, what about Cormier?
Cormier, you know what? I love this guy. Yeah. He's a future Hall of Famer for sure.
Of course.
We're looking at him right now. Look at his exercise regimen, everything. Just the way he speaks when he's
you
in
say
his conferences.
regiment?
Yeah, his regiment.
Regimen. There's no T.
Regiment.
There's no T at the end.
You guys, are you for real?
Yeah.
What is this?
English 101.
Oh my God.
Learn to speak. You're no prune. You think a regiment is a regimen.
Oh God. Here we go.
Get it together.
Where's Fred?
Fred's fishing.
I know.
Yeah, because we need Fred's French accent. It helps me.
Yeah, DC is great. DC is awesome. No one's debating that. I'm just saying that this fight, as big as it is, I don't think will sell as much as maybe it should, given the magnitude of what this is. This is the light heavyweight champion taking on the heavyweight champion. It's never been done in the history of the UFC. Stipe Miocic is clearly the man. He's defended the title more than any heavyweight champion in the history of the game. He just beat Francis Ngannou, who everybody thought was going to smoke him in the first round, and he wound up putting on an MMA clinic over Francis Ngannou. But people aren't buying pay-per-views for Stipe Miocic. It's just a fact. Stipe, as great as he is not a big money maker for the UFC. Not to the level of a GSP or a John Jones, Conor McGregor. I mean, let's not even kid ourselves. McGregor's on a level all to his own. Yep. But Stipe, as great as he is, as much as MMA fans may be excited about him, the general population is like, oh, there's a UFC going on this weekend? I didn't even know. England's playing soccer tomorrow, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the sports event of the weekend. People are like, this is supposed to be International Fight Week, and the buzz on this card has been
it's been
non-existent. Only in your mind, AJ. I'm telling you.
Look
you
at
look
everything.
at general sports, the people that cover, all the different sports and stuff. They're not really taking a look at this. The mainstream audience is not really focused on UFC 226 as much as the MMA audience is.
And you know what? You're right. You're right. You're right. Why? Because they don't have like that sort of oomph like McGregor and all the rest. In fact, when
it's the it factor. They don't have it. They don't have it. Ronda had it. George had it. John Jones has it.
Well,
McGregor has it.
Yeah, but he has it really because in the beginning it was based on his skills, and then right after that it was based on his stupidities.
But it's still based on his skills, given that he's like the greatest fighter we've ever seen.
Well, I don't know that. You can't be great if you're not fighting, right? You can't be great if you're not winning.
He's the greatest fighter we've ever seen.
No, the greatest fighter I've ever seen was George. That's the greatest fighter I've ever seen. The greatest fighter I ever seen was McGregor.
I thought you just said it was George.
No, but what I'm saying is that these guys fit that category. Bones Jones doesn't. In fact, he's one of my biggest disappointments because I thought he would have been the greatest fighter of all time.
He's undefeated.
Undefeated in what way? He's two times.
He's never lost a fight except for that disqualification that should have been a no contest. At worst, it really should have been a TKO win over Matt Hamill. John Jones is undefeated, and he's defeated legends of the game.
Suspended 3 times?
As great. So?
There you go.
That has nothing to do with his in-competition performance. That's out of the cage. He's a total screw-up.
Listen,
in the cage, I don't know if we've seen anybody better, and I'll give it to George St. Pierre. GSP he's the greatest of all time, only because John Jones can't keep his stuff together.
But that's a true martial artist. That's why George is who he is, because he encompasses everything.
Sure,
he has it all.
I give all respect to George. George is a role model. George is a guy you can look to and say, be like George St. Pierre. He is the greatest of all time. He's the man. He's an example for the sport, an example for Canada, for Quebec, for Montreal. Right? But John Jones has never lost. George has lost a couple of fights, and George is great. I'm not debating that George is not greater than John Jones or whatever. I'm just saying John Jones, had he kept everything together,
he could have been. I agree with you on that.
And during his time in the UFC, he was the man. And
for sure.
I don't know if we've seen anybody better. More dominant. I mean, guys step in. Daniel Cormier, the guy who's fighting tomorrow night.
Right.
No one has beat him except John Jones.
Yeah,
and you look at the guys that Cormier has defeated. Cormier is so far above every other light heavyweight, but he can't get John Jones. Fought him twice, lost to him twice.
Yeah, but was there any reason maybe that he lost because the other guy was possibly high?
You really think John Jones was on steroids?
No, I think he was on cocaine on the last one. For sure.
You think he was on cocaine in the last fight where he kicked him in the head and knocked him out?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because that was what was in his toxicology.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was cocaine.
No, it wasn't, AJ.
Yeah, man.
That was a different time.
Listen,
what he failed for last time
was even with Vito Belfort fight.
Performance-enhancing drug. It was like a It was like a masking agent type of deal. And it was a steroid that he tested positive for the last time around. And it was in the masking agent was the time before that. But this past time was a steroid in such small amounts and taken at such a strange time that it wouldn't really even make sense for him to be using it. It was probably in something else that he took in trace amounts.
So hear me out. Let's just say Cormier actually
I don't think
wins.
John Jones ever took steroids to enhance his performance.
No,
he may have unknowingly entered in his system, but I don't think he ever did it on purpose because he didn't need to. The guy would drink and party and do cocaine and hang out and do all sorts of stuff.
He was like a rock star,
and not train and still go in and beat the top light heavyweights on the planet. And we're talking about legends of the game in their prime. Daniel Cormier, Lyoto Machida, Vitor Belfort, Alexander Gustafsson, Rashad Evans, Rampage Jackson, Shogun Rua. Legends of the game. John Jones smoked them all.
Well, whoa, Dave. On the Belfort fight, you know what I think about that one.
John Jones made him tap out with an Americana. Is that what you think?
No, I think
that's what happened.
I think if Belfort would have continued with that armbar and broke his arm, it would have been over. But he didn't, which Belfort probably regrets.
He hyperextended it pretty bad. I think he did all he could with that armbar.
And what happened after the fight? What was he?
Why didn't
with?
Vitor break his arm? Because he couldn't. Because he was unable to.
No,
because Jones popped his arm out.
No, not really. Because he says he wasn't going to go any further. He didn't want to break his arm. That's what Belfort said.
Why not?
It's a fight. You know what? He's not like Frank Mir and all the rest. I guess Well, there's certain fighters that will take it to that level.
Well, he should have broke his arm because he wound up losing the fight. So
true, I agree with you.
That's Vitor's fault. He lost.
But anyways, I think
he lost just like the rest.
Yeah, you know what? I like to see Cormier fight Jones again. I like to see that. That third fight,
Why?
And it's going to happen. It might happen. Let's be honest.
If Cormier fights long enough for Jones to serve out a suspension, which is still unclear how long he's going to be out for, could be 2 years, could be 4 years, but he's young enough
to come back,
and still be dominant, and still be the top guy. He's young enough and good enough to come back after 4 years even and still be number one.
We'll see about that in the years to come. I mean, the game is changing, right?
Not really at light heavyweight.
Not really,
We're
but
the top
it is.
guys at light heavyweight. The only reason Daniel Cormier is fighting Stipe Miocic tomorrow night was because there was no more opponents for Daniel Cormier to beat. They threw Volkan Ozdemir at him last time.
Which was pretty good.
Yeah, but who's Volkan Ozdemir?
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? People didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
and people have forgotten about him already.
No, for sure for the game.
Come on now.
No, I agree with you on that, Dave. If Jones comes back, he definitely will be a big pay-per-view draw. There's no doubt about it. They need to have these colorful type of characters in the game.
Big pay-per-view
That's
draw,
what sells.
And the next champion. He'll win again. He'll win
agree
again.
with you. And I was saying it to James last week. I said, there's so many great fighters today. There's so many. I mean, there's, George was the front runner to, being like the Bruce Lee of MMA of today. Like, he just changed the game. And right now we have kids that are learning to grapple and wrestle and put everything together in a mixed martial art aspect, where they're starting at like 6, 7, 8 years old. And they're getting at 13 years old and they're beasts.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that there's thousands of Georges out there right now. Well, everybody has. You have better trainers. So. You have better trainers. You have better quality sparring partners. It's going to be a different game in like 3-4 years from now. It's been a different game like from 5 years ago. But
yeah, I agree that the competition is getting steeper and the game is changing and guys are getting better at MMA.
Right.
But to say that there's 1,000 Georges out there. George is like a once-in-a-generation
athlete. But what I'm saying, for sure, but a lot of these kids looked up to George, and they follow him. They do the exact same thing like him. I've seen kids coming up in like the jiu-jitsu scene, and I'm like, damn, these kids are amazing, and they're only 13 years old. And they fight adults.
Anthony, millions of kids grew up looking up to Michael Jordan, and like how many of them really came out to be Michael Jordan?
No, but like the ones
it's the same thing.
But
you
the
can
ones
can look up to Superman, but you may never become Superman.
Yeah, you might get splatted, but the thing
is a different type of guy.
It's a different game, but the thing is that what I'm getting back to is that if I want my kid to follow someone, I'd rather him be like George, as opposed to look at Bones Jones and say, yeah, this guy's so good, but you know what? He's so messed up. You can't be a champion if you can't get everything put together. Sure. And that's the problem. And I was saying to James, the difference today is that, yeah, there's a lot of guys out there with great skills, and you need to have a name to really be able to market yourself so that people can want to come and buy your pay-per-view or want to buy your T-shirts and want to buy like everything that's associated with you. And that's why there's McGregors out there, and that's why there's Georges out there. And I was saying to James, you know, you got to be a good guy and a bad guy. The only problem is that if you're the bad guy, you don't really want to take it to the point where Bones Jones took it, because this guy, and I, you know, I'm not saying I don't like him. I like Bones Jones as a fighter, and I think he could have been the greatest fighter out there. But the problem is that I don't want anybody to be looking at him and saying, you know what, I want to model myself after that guy.
Of course not.
So he shouldn't be allowed to.
He's had multiple arrests. Of course you don't want to look up to John Jones. It doesn't mean he's not the best fighter we've ever seen. Just because he's done bad things, it doesn't mean he's not really good at fighting.
But
no, exactly.
Respect the sport.
But you got to respect the sport.
Yeah,
Muscles,
sure.
Marco, gracias.
Sure, I guess so.
You know, but you know what? You're right. In the end, for pay-per-views...
Does Conor McGregor respect the sport?
Well, you know what? Conor
He attacked a bus full of athletes the day before their fight. You think he respects the sport?
I think he respects...
You're not coming down on Conor McGregor.
You know what? It is kind of hard, because I think it's sort of like WWE wrestling. I mean, you're gonna...
It's not. He's got a court date.
Yeah, he's got a court date.
WWE wrestling is not real when the cops come in. Nobody actually gets arrested. Do you think the Mountie was really put in jail by the big boss man? You think that was real?
Anything's possible, man.
Yeah, you really don't know.
No, but
Wrestling Uncensored tomorrow night. Tune in, AJ.
I am.
Tune in tomorrow night at midnight right here on TSN 690. Myself and Johnny North talking about the WWE.
Best wrestling show
in the world.
I'd say in the world, yeah.
We're number one.
You are. You and Johnny North, man. Yeah. You're awesome.
Nobody's better than the big man, Johnny North.
Why don't you bring him in tonight? It would have been so funny.
Why?
Is he sleeping? He's probably sleeping.
He might be. I don't know. He might be listening. I don't know what he's doing right now.
Johnny, if you're listening, call him.
Johnny's always welcome in here. Johnny just has to say, I'm going to come in tonight, and he can come in. He can sit in anytime he wants. Who's going to stop him?
No one's going to stop that guy.
He's gigantic.
He's a monster. With his Samson hair, how are you going to stop a guy like that?
You can't stop Johnny North. Who do you like tomorrow night, Stipe or DC?
You know what? I was trying to think about this. I knew you were going to ask me this, and it was so hard.
Yeah,
I like them both.
Of course. It's the night before a fight. You think I'm not going to ask you who you think is going to win?
I know, Dave, and I
think Stipe is going to win.
Why?
Because
he's bigger?
He's a heavyweight champion of the world. He's bigger.
He dresses really well.
And I just can't... I can't bet against Stipe after what he did with Ngannou last time.
True.
I think Stipe, he may get taken down by DC, but I think Stipe is a better boxer than Daniel Cormier.
I agree with you on that.
But I honestly think this fight could go either way, and it may be one of the greatest fights we ever see. This has the potential to be one of the greatest fights of all time, if DC can hang in there. Because I think it's a possibility that Stipe knocks out Daniel Cormier.
Listen, at 5'11",
it's not going to end by submission unless DC... You know, DC has the ability to take guys down, beat them up, and then choke them out with a rear naked choke, but I don't think he can do that to Stipe. Stipe's too durable. Stipe never quits. Stipe's got a lot of heart. And I think Stipe Miocic is going to hurt Daniel Cormier, and he's going to knock him out. Either knock him out or beat him in a decision. But I think it's going to be a TKO win for Stipe. I think Stipe wins it in like the third, fourth, maybe fifth. But I like Stipe tomorrow night. I think he's just too big for DC.
Listen,
and he's too good. This guy is on another level. People are not respecting the skill of Stipe Miocic enough. Look what he's done. Look who he's beat. He's beat everybody.
I think Lewis said it at the conference. He looked at DC and he said, "You know what, DC? When I saw you, I didn't realize how small you really are. Sitting next to you, you're smaller than I can imagine." And DC said to him, like, honestly, Derrick, I fight everybody, and everybody that I fight is way bigger than me. And everyone that I fight, I beat. So it doesn't make a difference, the
Except
size.
John Jones.
Yeah, all right. But everybody else that he fights, he beats. And he's not a big man. So if it comes down to like the takedowns and whatnot, if Cormier is able to control the game, the ground game, and hold Miocic down, he's going to ground and pound him. I'm not saying I'm going for Cormier, but I think Cormier has a pretty good chance.
Who do you think is going to win the fight?
Man, this is tough.
No,
tough.
it's not.
It's
just
tough.
give me
It's
a
tough.
prediction. I just gave it to you very easily.
This is what I'm going to say. If it's going to be a knockout, it's going to be Miocic knocking out Cormier. If it gets down to the ground and it goes those 5 rounds, I think Cormier has a good chance.
Okay. I'm cutting your mic off. Marco, what's your pick? AJ's not giving me a straight answer. Who do you like? Just give me a name.
I think Cormier's going to pull it off.
Okay, there you go. AJ, how hard was that?
It's hard, man. It's
Just
hard.
give me a name.
Okay, look, if I had to bet on this, I'd say Miocic with a knockout.
There you go. Thank you. That's what I said.
Yeah, but I got to be fair to Cormier because most people don't realize the skill level of this man.
He's unbelievable.
Exactly.
There's no light heavyweight on the planet other than John Jones that could take him. Respect to DC. But look at what Stipe Miocic has done in his past several fights in the past 3 years. TKO win over Mark Hunt. TKO win over Andrei Arlovsky. Beat Fabricio Verdum with a knockout in 2 minutes 47 seconds to win the heavyweight title.
True.
In his first defense, he knocked out Alistair Overeem in the first round. In his second defense, he got a TKO win over Junior Dos Santos in the first round. And in his third title defense, he beat the unstoppable, undefeated, knockout monster Francis Ngannou by pummeling him for 5 straight rounds. 25 minutes, all Stipe. He won every round. Stipe Miocic is the heavyweight king. Stipe Miocic, by the way, is only 35 years old. Daniel Cormier is like 40, 41. That makes a difference, too.
True.
The size,
the wear and tear,
the age, and the level that Stipe is at right now, the skill level, it's Stipe's time. I got Stipe tomorrow night to retain. I don't know if there's a heavyweight on the planet that's taking Stipe Miocic. I know Derrick Lewis wants the next shot. He thinks he's going to beat Ngannou tomorrow night, and he wants the next shot, which is interesting.
I'm curious to see how Ngannou's going to do tomorrow.
Me too.
How he's going to bounce back from the beating he got from Stipe.
Well, that's it. How does he recover after that fight?
Well, he'll recover.
What does Ngannou look like? That's going to be a good fight. That's the co-main event in the heavyweight division. 2 guys that hit hard, that knock people out. Derrick Lewis is a big underdog right now, plus 305, and Ngannou minus 335. Stipe, by the way, is a favorite in that fight, minus 200, DC plus 185. I think Ngannou should win the fight. I think Ngannou's going to go back to his ways of just banging it out, And I think he's going to bang it out with Derrick Lewis. One of them's going to fall down, and I think that man will be Derrick Lewis. I think Lewis will just fall to Ngannou, but it'll be fun to watch while it lasts.
Listen,
unless they tire out, which is possible. Sometimes you see these heavyweight guys, and they 2 things could happen to make this fight boring. Either they tire out because they're hitting each other way too much in the first round, and then the second and third rounds are just really boring, and it goes to a decision. Or it's really boring because neither guy wants to exchange too much because they're scared of the other guy's power. That could happen. What I'm hoping for is just 2 guys letting it all hang out, throwing punches at each other, eating each other's shots until one of them can't go on and somebody falls down.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, at first I was like, yeah, these guys are going to scrap it out and whatnot. But after the weigh-in today, after what I witnessed, and I think Dana White got a good elbow in the face because of these 2 guys. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the weigh-ins, go on YouTube, take a look at the weigh-ins, and you'll see like Lewis give Ngannou a 2-hand push, which was pretty like aggressive. I mean, it's something. I don't know what Ngannou said to Lewis in his ears, but Dana White took the brunt of it.
They got a little heated at the weigh-in. Who are you picking?
For this one, I'm going with Ngannou.
There we go. That was easier, right, Marco? That was much
easier. Hey, but you didn't ask me. I was just like giving you the relay of what happened.
What?
Popeye chicken. You'll know what I'm talking about. Go to YouTube.
You are a prune. You are a prune. There's a Trizano and Genetti. Man, is everybody Italian in the UFC these days? What's going on, Anthony D'Alessio? Muscles Marco? What's happening, paisans?
Hey, man, that's what happens when you bring AJ on the show, man.
The UFC goes Italian.
Yeah,
I love
that's it.
I love it. Look, they're not at the World Cup, but at least they're in the UFC, right?
That's right. We got to do something else.
You know who is at the World Cup? France.
They are.
Victory.
True. Yeah.
Victory today. Boom! Beating Uruguay 2-0. Allez les Bleus. You want me to sing the anthem? Maybe I'll come back and sing the anthem, all right? I think we need to play the anthem because France is going to the quarters.
Make Muscle Marco
no, wait, they're
sing
going
Italian.
they're going to the semis. This was the quarters.
Yeah.
What am I saying? They're in the semifinals. They're in the Final Four.
And Brazil is gone home. Do you believe this?
We'll talk about that.
Okay,
we'll also get to the rest of the UFC 226 card, and we'll tell you what happened to Max Holloway. Is his career over? I'm Dave. He's AJ. Marco's here too. Fred's gone fishing. Ringside Report Radio. Yeah, here we are. Ringside Report Radio live on TSN 690.
Yeah,
AJ, get a picture of me right now.
Wait, hold on a second.
Get this on Instagram.
Oh my God.
I told you I was going to do this. I told you this was going to happen. France is in the semifinals. Allez les Bleus. Élevez, entendez-nous dans les campagnes. Dire ces féroces soldats, ils viennent jusque dans nos bras, égorger nos fils, nos compagnes. Get ready, AJ!
Oh boy.
Formez vos bataillons, marchons. Marchons! Let's go, AJ,
God.
sing it! Cœur saint et pur, abreuve nos sillons. We did it!
Mark, what are you clapping for?
What a game from Griezmann today. What a game. France beating Uruguay 2-0. Going to the semifinals to take on, not Brazil, but Belgium. Belgium! I love it. It's a clear path to the finals, AJ. I'm very excited. I'm wearing the France jersey. Everything is exciting. Everything is exciting.
Everything except for Italian soccer.
Woo!
But you know, us Italians, we don't care about soccer.
You know what, AJ?
We don't care about soccer. We care about MMA and UFC because look at them. They're all there.
Yeah.
The Italians are there.
I had to rub it in a little bit because the last time France made the finals, and yes, I'm assuming France is going to make the finals in the World Cup.
Dave, I'm going to
You know who beat them, right? You know who beat them 12 years ago? This is 12 years in the making, AJ.
Zidane? The headbutt?
2006.
Well, that's his problem, man.
Italy.
We won.
I know.
Exactly.
I'll never forget it.
Can I play my theme song for Italy?
No, I don't want to hear your theme song.
Come on, Dave.
I already sang my song. I did the whole thing. You guys like my singing of the song? Marco, that was all right, eh? You liked that.
Listen, Marco, this is for you. Dave.
What? I don't need to hear your... Get that out of here.
This is the Italian song, man.
Marco, that's not the Italian national anthem.
Listen, if he's going to stand up and dance, I'm going to stand up and dance.
No, we're not dancing. All right, I'm turning his mic off. There he is. He's gone. Marco, I'm getting your mic off, too. I'm getting you're both gone. AJ, turn that off. Get out of here. AJ's off the show now. Where are you, AJ?
I'm dancing, man. I'm getting...
All right, stop dancing. We got UFC 226 to get to. This has gone off the rails. We need Fred here. This is why we need Fred. Fred would have never allowed me to sing that song. You know, he would have never allowed all this nonsense.
No, because he was going for Spain, and they went out. And then he went for Germany. Well, first it was Germany, I think, and they were out. Spain was out.
First you were going for Italy, and then they were never in the tournament.
What the hell?
Can you turn your phone off? What are you doing? And then you were cheering for Brazil for some reason, because you think you're Brazilian.
Well, I am wearing a sweater that
says Brazilian top team, but it's a jiu-jitsu thing. Just because you do Brazilian jiu-jitsu doesn't make you Brazilian.
Well, actually, the funny thing that I saw today was...
Brazil is out now losing to Belgium today.
I can't believe
it.
it.
Which was a shocker. And we put out our World Cup picks, as we do.
Yep.
We do all sorts of stuff. I'm putting out my pick. And I gave you my picks to put in the graphic, AJ.
Yeah.
And I said, I got Sweden beating England. Mm-hmm. It's going to end 2-2, and then Sweden's going to win in penalties. And then you put on the graphic that I had England winning. You couldn't even get my picks right. There's four games we were picking. You couldn't even get it straight.
You don't think England's going to win this game?
No.
Come on.
No. Swedish upset. Well, you thought Brazil was going to win today, right?
Well, you're right. I think
how'd that go for you?
It didn't go too well, actually. In fact, it was a really bad day for my picks. I mean, yeah.
Did you take Uruguay to win too?
Yep, 2-1. And I took 3-0 for Brazil.
I said France was going to win. I said France is going to win the World Cup, but I always do. I'm always just hopeful.
I mean, they have a good chance. There's no doubt about it.
Now they have a really good chance.
They have a really good chance, but
1 in 4 is 25%.
I can't believe
probably
Brazil,
better than
I can't
that,
believe Brazil is out. I'm like really shocked.
Yeah.
But anyways, listen, the Brazilians can always do jiu-jitsu. That's what counts.
I'm more shocked about Max Holloway.
Oh yeah.
And like, what's going on with maybe, the future of his career? It seems pretty bad.
He's young.
From the reports we're hearing, Max Holloway was supposed to be in the co-main event defending his UFC featherweight championship tomorrow night against Brian Ortega. It was going to be a great fight. And this week, we hear Max Holloway suffered a concussion. I'm not sure how or when the concussion took place. Details are kind of sketchy right now, but Holloway was looking bad. Like, he did some interviews this week. He did one on that UFC Tonight Show with Bisping.
That's where
Bisping
it started.
Was like, man, you look sleepy. And
you
Holloway,
saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw the video, and Holloway's like, no, I'm okay. But you could see Holloway looked messed up. Like, he did not look good. And if that's a concussion, that is a severe concussion to cause that for Max Holloway. And Dana White is saying Holloway is not going to be fighting anytime soon. And people are wondering about the future of Holloway's career. Like, this could
he's 26, right?
Yeah, this could be career-ending, though. We've seen concussions end promising MMA careers before.
Right.
You remember TJ Grant?
Yep.
He was the #1 contender for the UFC lightweight championship. He knocked out Gray Maynard back when Gray Maynard was one of the top contenders. He beat somebody else, TJ Grant. Like, he had a nice little run.
But you know what? Like,
and then he was next in line to get the UFC lightweight title shot, TJ Grant from out in Halifax.
Great fighter.
Great fighter.
Yep.
He suffered an injury in training, a concussion, doing jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. Not even in striking. This is a jiu-jitsu. Something happened. He suffered a concussion. Never fought again. Never fought again.
Yeah,
this is serious, man. You have a concussion. If it's a really bad concussion, it can end your career.
For sure. For sure.
You go back in sparring, you get touched on the chin, you go out all of a sudden. You don't want to get hit in the head when you've had some severe concussion issues.
Look,
so this could be the end for Max Holloway. I hope it's not. I hope that the guy goes on to have a great career going forward. But the word that we're hearing is this is really serious, and this could be career ending.
But they don't know. Like Dana White said, it could be like doctors are saying it could be the factor of a concussion because of like his serious training camp that he got hit like obviously pretty hard. What most people don't realize is that the fight is the easy part. When you see that fight tomorrow night, that's the easy part. It's the training camp, and James can attest to that. That was here last week. The training camp that's difficult. That's weeks or months into preparation, and they're fighting everybody at like top levels. They're fighting all the time. For sure, they're getting knocked out. They get injured. We see all kinds of things, but it could be a factor either of the concussion from training, or it could be that he was overworked. And for sure, I've seen guys that like even George, man, like he'll cry like if he has to, like when the camps are so difficult that, I mean, you're just burnt all the time. So it could be that as well. So they're doing tests. The initial tests on Holloway were, they were okay. The doctors gave him the clearance. Everything was good. But I'll agree with you on one thing. When I saw the interview with Bisping and I was looking at Max talking, and he didn't make sense.
He did not look okay.
No, he didn't. And his eyes, what I was looking at was his eyes. He had one eye open and one eye closed. So there are symptoms of, like he was very lethargic. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not sure. Like, do I want to not see this guy fight? For sure, I wanted to see him fight, but I don't want to see the guy's career come to an end at 26. So I'm okay with him not being there to fight till they really find out. And Dana White said it at the interview. They're doing extensive tests, and they're going to do continuous tests till they can find out what's wrong.
Hopefully he's okay because, you look in his eyes, and he didn't look good. It's either, something happened concussion-wise, or, he looks like, the Diaz brothers on 420. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
the eyes were like,
they
not
were
there.
gone.
Something was going on there. So hopefully Max blessed Holloway is okay. Do you see that Drake apparently name dropped him in a song?
What the heck is all that about? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really listen to Drake, but
do you know he's got a new album?
No.
And
I'm sure Antoinette is probably going to tweet right now.
That's funny because we talked about it on the show last week.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you were talking about? Drake?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about breaks.
With James Mancini.
Oh, okay.
Last week we talked about the album.
Yeah. I thought we were talking about Rihanna again.
No, but we said the name of the album last week. You weren't paying attention to the show that you were on?
I was eating. Sorry, buddy.
Unbelievable.
There was a good buffet here. What do you want me to do? Like,
Anyway,
honestly, why would I want to listen to Drake?
Drake's got a song called 8 out of 10 on his new album, Scorpion.
Well, I know one thing about Drake. He had the most, downloads of a song in the history of music or something like that. That's what I heard.
Here's a little taste, 8 out of 10. He says at one point, Max, and then he says blessed. So people are saying, is this a Max Holloway name drop? But it's not really clear what he's saying.
Let's hear it.
We both know end of the day, your sister is pressing play, your trainer is pressing play, your wifey. I gotta breathe real deep when I catch your attitude. I got a whole other level that
AJ, you don't like this? AJ's not feeling it?
Like, do you dance to this? What do you do with this? Is it like some strip joint song? What is this?
You nod your head. You just nod your head. All right? That's all you need to do. Marco, you're loving this, right? Marco's loving it.
Should I kiss my son on the forehead and kiss your goodbye?
What?
As luck would have it, I've settled into my role as the good guy. I guess luck is on your side.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you mean by kissing your kid on the forehead and then kissing something goodbye? Like someone's ass goodbye? What is that?
What do you mean?
I don't know what the heck he was saying.
Well, he's saying that...
and then I can't say, I said prune and it's bad, and this guy's saying that kind of stuff and it's good? Seriously?
At least what he's saying kind of makes sense.
What? Did that make sense?
You're using incorrect words.
Hey, listen, where was the Max Holloway blessed thing out of that? Or
yeah, that's later on in the song.
So let's hear it.
I don't know. Maybe it's here. I don't know. It's at some point in this song.
Had to go and hit reset, now we here. I've been on top of 3 sets in 3 years. I can't be around it you mingling with. I can't fly if I can sit on the wing of that.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, it seems like Drake has name dropped Max Holloway, which is pretty cool. But then, like, the week it happens...
I like them on Degrassi.
Holloway gets hurt and things go wrong. Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you watch that show?
Well, yeah.
You're a grown man.
I'm going to tell you something, but I'll tell you off.
It's for kids, right?
No,
tell me now.
I can't.
No, tell me now.
No.
Tell me now.
I won't tell you. I can't tell you.
You can't tease the wrestling or the Ringside Report.
I'll tell you one day. I'll tell you one day.
Universe.
I'll tell you one day. You're going to laugh.
You should tell us on the air right now.
I can't. It's a long story.
How about Matt Serra stopping that guy in that restaurant?
You know what? That guy is lucky it was Matt Serra, and it just goes to show you a true martial artist. They're not going to hurt you.
The guy was being belligerent, and Matt Serra grabbed him and put him down slowly, and then just got a full mount on him and held him down. And you know,
right.
if you're a jiu-jitsu black belt like Matt Serra, and he decides to full mount you, you're not getting up.
That's Matt Serra.
You're not getting up unless Matt Serra wants you to.
Exactly, and he was laughing.
You ever have to use your jiu-jitsu skills in the street?
It happens, but you're not going to hurt someone.
Has it happened to you?
Yeah, it's happened. But I'm not going to choke the guy out to death. You know what I'm saying? But
you're going to put him out. You're going to put him to sleep.
If the
you're
guy,
not going to kill a guy, but you might have to put him to sleep. If he's
I think that's what the drunk guy.
If he's being unruly, you might have to sleep him.
Yeah, for sure.
My brother had to put a guy to sleep with a guillotine.
Yeah, I remember that. He was telling me. Yeah, I remember that. But you know what? At least that's jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is the gentleman's art. We can we can make things very easy for you or very difficult for you. So you got a choice. We'll start easy, and then if it gets difficult, you won't have much time to realize that it's difficult.
You'll be in big trouble.
You'll be in big trouble. And that guy, first of all, that guy in the video, if you get a chance to watch the Sarah video, there were 2 videos. There was the first video where that drunk is with his girlfriend, and she looks completely gone. It was funny. He was calling it Weekend at Bernie's 3. It was really, really funny. But then this guy got up and started harassing the waitresses and waiters. Yeah. And then he actually tried to take a swing at Matt Serra because Matt Serra told him to calm down.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And Matt Serra put him down and held him down. And the guy was saying, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And Sarah's like, yeah, okay. And he's laughing. Just take it easy. Make this easy for yourself. But you know what? He's lucky it was Sarah because you don't know who you'll meet in the streets, right?
Yeah, it could have gone very, very badly
Sure.
for him. He's lucky that Matt Serra was being nice.
Yeah, and it's a perfect time for the ceremonies that he had. I think it was the day after, correct? The Hall of Fame ceremonies were the day after. I think it was cool. I think it's like...
How crazy is it, too, for a guy to be, like, swinging on Matt Serra and saying, oh, I'm going to get you, Matt Serra. He has no idea, right? But it's just... It's so insane.
You know what?
I was at a UFC show once, and somebody in the crowd tried to pick a fight with Frank Trigg. Frank Trigg was sitting right in front of me,
my God.
and somebody wanted to fight Frank Trigg. This drunk guy in Toronto wanted to fight Trigg, and I was like, I don't think this guy knows who he's trying to pick a fight with.
No.
And Frank Trigg's like, whoa, come on, buddy. Like, let's be cool. And security's stepping around. And then a bunch of guys around me were like, hey, man, you might want to stay away from him. He's Frank Trigg. He used to fight in the UFC.
I mean, you know what? I'm sure it happens a lot to these fighters. I mean, you'll get, like, it happens in the gyms. In the early days, you'd have all these, like, guys that think that they can go, like, up against, like, professional athletes. Well, it happens. And usually they realize that they made a serious mistake.
Yeah. And that guy definitely did. Quickly, AJ, we're running out of time
Tell
here.
me, buddy.
I want to see what else you have in store for UFC 226. Like, what are you excited about? We got Paul Felder and Mike Perry. That's a good fight at welterweight.
That'll be good, yeah.
Michael Chiesa missed weight today, so that's a catch weight at 157.5 pounds against Anthony Pettis.
That's going to be a good
What do you
fight.
like in that fight?
I like Pettis. I mean, for sure.
I don't like that Chiesa missed weight. I don't like that.
But how much? It was like, what, a pound or something? A pound and a half? Yeah. I mean, it's not going to make a big difference for Chiesa to have an advantage over Pettis, but
a lot of guys that are missing weight are winning fights these days. In 2018, like
that's
most
true.
guys that miss weight wind up winning the fight. So I don't know. Maybe you go with Chiesa. Gokhan Saki. You gotta like that fight, right? Gokhan Saki.
Yeah, the Turkish Tyson.
Great kickboxer, just a monster of a dude. He's in the UFC now. He's taking on Khalil Roundtree. Uriah Hall taking on Paulo Costa on the prelims. That's a good fight too.
Yep.
Some decent fights on this card.
No, it's a great card. The prelims are awesome. The main card is awesome. It would have been awesome, even awesomer, if it would have been Holloway against Ortega. I really, for myself, out of this whole card, I wanted to see Ortega fight. That was what I was looking forward to. It's too bad. I think they called out another fighter. I forgot who it was, but Ortega didn't want to take it. At the weigh-ins, the manager said, no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But I think it was Frankie Edgar. Could it be?
Possible. Didn't he just beat Frankie Edgar, though?
I don't know. I think it
did.
was. Yeah, like last minute, like, just to get that card filled. But they don't need it, man. The card is awesome.
I don't need to see Brian Ortega beat Frankie Edgar. He just knocked him out in March.
I know. They were talking
Why
about it
would
at
we
the
see that fight again? What's the point?
Well, I guess just to fill the card up. I don't know. That's all it is. But they don't need it. No,
Unnecessary.
Exactly.
UFC 226 going down tomorrow night. AJ and I will be live on YouTube. YouTube.com/ringsidereport.net. Ringside Report, DOTNET. What are you saying?
You know what? Last week was my brother's wedding.
Yes.
So I have to, like...
Julio.
My brother Julio, who's in, like, New York right now, watching the Yankees play again.
The Yankees are in Toronto.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the heck he's doing. He's watching the Yankees. Oh, maybe that was when he was watching with the Braves. I don't know. Anyways, so he had a great wedding and all.
The Yankees played in Toronto tonight.
No, I know, but he's been there all week.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were playing when?
Atlanta.
Exactly.
This week, yeah.
Yeah. And that was it.
They
so,
took,
Marco...
The Yanks took 2 or 3 from the Braves, by the way, and they took 2 or 3 from the Red Sox before that. Yanks looking great. Go Yankees. I'm a big Yankee fan, too.
But just to let you know...
Big time. My brother is going to
What?
go to the Yankee game tomorrow in Toronto. He'll be there.
Well, excuse me.
So Aaron Judge hit a home run for my brother, okay?
Excuse me.
Mr. Judge.
Judge.
Stanton. Yeah, so you
So,
got a
Marco...
story?
No, the story is...
Marco, what happened? AJ made a fool out of himself at his brother's
Well,
wedding?
sort of.
He let himself go. He made
Whoa, take it easy. Let himself go could be like I went to the washroom.
How many drinks? How many drinks before you picked up a microphone and started talking?
A few.
Because
Yeah, there was a few.
you have no drinks before you take the microphone here, and it always goes wrong. So I can only imagine what happens when you have a microphone and alcohol in your system.
made a
That's a
very
dangerous
moving
combination.
Thank you,
Very
Marco.
moving speech.
It was moving.
Yeah, it moved me. It actually brought a tear to my eye, and it was like it had all the emotions.
It was like
Some
the
humor,
Titanic.
Some.
What? Keep going, Marco.
Oh, it was just like
AJ, this is the story you've been waiting for all show. All show, off the air, before the show, AJ's like, Marco, you got to tell him about the speech that I did at my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And this is the story?
No, it gets better. So I got all emotional and everything, and then I said, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. And I go,
no, you didn't.
I swear to God. I'm like, I'm going to do a shameless plug. And everybody's like, okay, what is he going to do next? I'm like, TSN 690, Midnight Friday.
Yes, he did. Yes,
Wow.
he did.
I swear, man.
All right.
Yes, he did. And
Well,
that was only
everybody,
after a couple of drinks.
everybody at Julio's wedding, sorry for that, and thank you for tuning in.
Hey,
here
man, it was an
tonight.
awesome wedding, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to your brother.
Yeah.
And his lovely bride,
Sophia.
Sophia. I don't know her, but I assume she's lovely.
She is, yes.
They're perfect for each other.
Perfect. That's what I'm talking about.
Just like our show. We're perfect together here.
Yeah, I think we're better with Fred.
I agree.
I think tonight kind of sucked.
What?
Sorry, I did my best.
You're no Fred, man. We need Fred. No, tonight was okay.
Well, how
AJ.
can it suck? You were doing a whole, like, freaking...
Sit down.
I can't sit down. I got to stand up. It's really hot in here.
You're way off mic now, though.
Am I? Here we
If
go.
you're going to move your head, you got to move your microphone with you.
If you want, I speak with the French accent like Fred.
That's not bad. That's not bad, actually. But you're missing a certain element, you know? There's something
the
you're...
laid back.
You're something you're
With the feet up.
missing. Yeah.
No, he has the same head like Fred.
Last week's show was great because we had James in here, we had Fred in here, we had sandwiches.
We did, yes. We had a little bit of vino.
Yeah.
Cannolis. What more do you want?
Well, I want wine and sandwiches every time I do this show, Anthony.
Well, you got Italian
That's what I
confetti
want.
now. What more do you want?
I got Italian
Mazel tov.
confetti.
And
Did you see?
Yeah. You got amaretto cookies and everything.
What more do you want?
I don't like these almondy cookies, though. They're
Come
weird.
on. Every Italian grew up with those cookies.
Yeah, but I'm not Italian. I didn't grow up with
We're
them.
trying to convert you.
Oh, boy. All right. Anthony and I will be back tomorrow on YouTube. YouTube.com/ringsidereport.net. Right after you watch UFC 226, go to our YouTube channel. All the info is on ringsidereport.net. You go to our YouTube channel, and then you get to see myself and Anthony at like 1 in the morning after going through a whole UFC card, and we will break down every fight on the card, including the main event, Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic. As soon as the fight's over, tune in on YouTube. We answer your questions. We take your comments. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but
we have fun on
do.
our YouTube channel. There's a lot going on. Johnny North and I were on YouTube earlier today. Johnny North and I do a weekly show on YouTube, the world-famous Wrestling Uncensored pre-show. And then Anthony and I will be back on the YouTube channel tomorrow night. I'll be back here on TSN 690 tomorrow night doing Wrestling Uncensored.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm a busy man. A lot of combat sports.
But don't
UFC
forget...
226, New Japan Pro Wrestling, WWE Extreme Rules going down next week.
But don't forget what we bring. It's important that we're sponsored by KFC.
No, we're not.
Okay.
No, we're not. We're not sponsored by KFC.
KFC at the UFC. That's our thing. That's our logo.
It's not real.
I know, but we're bringing KFC, right?
You made it up.
I know. It's the best. KFC at the UFC.
What do you mean?
At Dave's place.
So you're going to bring chicken to my house
Of course.
tomorrow?
Well, this time, yeah, I'm going to bring the bucket of chicken. I thought you were going to mention that whole time you were making that spiel.
I didn't know you were going to bring a bucket of chicken to my house.
I brought it the
tomorrow.
last time.
Yeah, you don't have to bring all that much chicken, but if you want to, man.
KFC at the UFC
I'm gonna
at
have
Dave's
a party
place.
tomorrow.
Let's all go to Dave's. Anybody want to come to Dave's place? Give him your address, Dave.
I'm going to get my boy Sandro to come. I want to call my buddy Sandro to get over.
Who the heck is that?
Look, man, I don't. You're not my only Italian friends, okay?
Bring him over, man. This will be fun.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's right. That's right, guys. It's Ringside Report Radio. Thanks, everybody, for listening. What, AJ? What?
I was going to say maybe Fred will bring some fish.
Fred's not coming. Fred is not coming. Fred's still on a fishing trip. He's been gone for like a week. Fred's line last week was the line of the week.
What?
I take a lot of vacation because I get a lot of vacation. Like, what are you saying? All right. RingsideReport.net for all the info. Subscribe on iTunes. Every show is available on iTunes. You subscribe, you get it. It's easy. RingsideReport.net. Follow Muscles Marco on Twitter at Marco Muscles. Follow Anthony on Twitter at Danny Bruck. And follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. For Muscles Marco and Anthony DeLessio, I'm Dave Simon. This has been Ringside Report Radio. We'll see you tomorrow night on YouTube, right after UFC 226.